everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be gaveling in for our resolution hearing for the Committee on Higher Education. I am Vice Chair Capella with Chair Peruso. We also have Member Martin and Member Evslin. I almost forgot her last name. And it is Wednesday, April 12th, and the time is 2:00 p.m., and we are here in conference room 309. And then I'll turn it over to Chair Peruso for some ground rules.
So in order to allow as many people as possible to testify, there will be a 2-minute limit per testifier. Please, if you're on Zoom, keep yourself muted and your video off while you're waiting to testify. And after your testimony is complete, the Zoom chat function will allow you to chat with technical staff only. Please use that chat only for technical issues. If you're disconnected unexpectedly, you may attempt to rejoin the meeting. If disconnected while presenting testimony, you may be allowed to continue if time permits. Please note that the House is not responsible for any bad internet connections on the testifier's end. In the event of a catastrophic network failure, it may be necessary to reschedule the hearing or schedule a meeting for decision making. In that case, an appropriate notice will be posted. Please refrain from profanity or uncivil behavior. Such behavior may be grounds for removal from the hearing without the ability to rejoin. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. We are going to jump right in. Our first measure is SCR 27 SD1. And up first we have Farah Marie Gomes, University of Hawaii, with comments on Zoom.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Farah Marie Gomes, Associate Vice President for Student Affairs at the University of Hawaii System. Vice President Halbert actually submitted testimony in support of this resolution, and I'm here to answer any questions that the committee might have. We will stand on our testimony at this time. Mahalo.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Up next, we have Nikki Anyi, Ma'i Movement Hawaii, in support on Zoom.
Aloha, Chair Peruso, Vice Chair Capella, and members of the committee. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify. We stand on our written testimony in strong support. We learned a lot when we advocated for free period products in the DOE. Inadequate access has a direct impact on student attendance, performance, and overall well-being. And from our work with the various universities and community colleges, we're seeing the same problems in the University of Hawaii system. At the start of this year, we partnered with Dr. Gupta of George Mason University, and she is the only person to release national data on the impact of period poverty on college-age students. Naturally, we wanted to understand what's happening in our islands. And what we found, even though this is very preliminary data, of the respondents that have menstruated in the past year, 41% experienced past year poverty, and of those, 47% experienced it monthly. This is in stark contrast to the national figures, where 14% experienced it in the past year, and 10% experienced it monthly. Period products are a basic need, but it's a basic need that keeps people from going to school, going to work, and from living full and productive lives. We focus a lot on student success and prioritizing the safety and health of students, and equal right to education for all is critical to that. This is not just about ending period poverty, but recognizing that period products are a basic need and correcting menstrual inequity. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much for your testimony. That's all I have on my testifiers list to testify. Is there anyone else that would like to testify? Please, Angela. Okay. We're going to do this one first.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and the committee. Angela Melody Young, testifying on behalf of CARES in strong support. So what is menstrual equity? It is referred to as affordability, accessibility, and safety of period products. But menstrual equity is not just defined by products, it is also about education and reproductive care. It's about making sure people have the needs, support, and choices to decide how they want to take care of their menstrual health And it's about finally ending the stigma around periods that has prevented not only decision makers, but also healthcare providers, educators, and individuals from ensuring that menstrual health is a priority. And since we're talking about this subject matter, it should also be for the consideration of the state to create equity for the homeless in this regard, because, you know, we talk about students and then the college students, but also period poverty is something homelessness suffers a lot from. Homeless people suffer a lot from. And last year, you know, I was surrounded by people who were all about period products, because last year was the famous bill that got enacted into law, and the Capitol was surrounded by a lot of schools and organizations from the community to advocate for period products. So, you know, I'm all about it, and I just would like to testify in strong support. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much for your testimony. And then the community member on Zoom.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Rudy Ramirez, and I'm the president of the Associate Students at the University of Hawaii, and I'm also the chair of the University of Hawaii Student Caucus. So I represent both the undergrad students at UH Manoa, and I also represent almost 50,000 students at the UH system. For me, this issue is about preserving dignity for those who would use these, who would use the period products. And it's also very reasonable to expand our basic offerings in the public bathrooms. So thank you so much for allowing me to testify on this.
Thank you so much for your testimony and for joining us today. I also have period, the menstrual movement in support, and then about 12 other individuals also in support. Anyone else wishing to testify? Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Chair Peruso.
I have a quick question for the university. So, Ms. Gomez?
Hi, Chair.
Hi.
So, my question is, have you folks updated your estimates in terms of the cost analysis? If you were going to provide these materials for all 10 campuses in the system, given what you know about what's already happening on the different campuses and taking a look at your basic needs master plan, what does the cost look like?
So regarding the previous bill that was introduced, we had that at $1 million for the first version of the bill. When the bill was expanded to all restrooms for all persons, not just pertaining to students, that is taking us a little more time to gather the data in terms of how many restrooms on all of the campuses and trying to get an estimate of how many community users we have, because that isn't something that has been tracked. So we don't have that number. However, the current version of this resolution gives flexibility back to the campuses and namely the chancellors to discuss with students on those needs, which is really a strong point for us in supporting this version of the resolution.
And just a follow-up, I noticed that you were requesting an amendment of the language from all persons to all students. And so that kind of speaks to your concerns about the broadened access. But on the other hand, I am concerned that if you constrict it too much, that it will be difficult to access. So I wouldn't want students to have to like show an ID or be in a specific kind of space, like a secure space to get access to these supplies. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, very, very good point, and thank you for bringing that up. Again, I think the beauty of this version of the resolution is the chancellors speaking with the student councils on the respective campuses, which will allow the students to be able to give input onto what would work. I don't think that there is a one size fits all for all 10 campuses across the system. And so it will really be individualized, but we're hoping that in collaboration with the students as well as the administration, every campus will have a program that fits them uniquely.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, members. Any other questions? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the next bill on the agenda, SCR 74. Up first, we have Department DBET, Bert Lum, in support in person.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Bert Lum, State Broadband Coordinator in the Hawaii Broadband Digital Equity Office. I stand on our testimony in support of this resolution and available for any questions.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Members, that's all I have on the testifier list. Is there any questions? Yes, Representative Martin.
How do you think this could work?
Well, it's not, it's going to be a process. So the first step of the process is I identify all the parks. So I've already kind of put the word out to the counties that we're going to be requesting a list of all the parks and what is currently provided in the parks, along with DLNR. So there's state parks, county parks. And if they can let us know what's already in the parks and maybe some idea of what kinds of activities might take place that would warrant, let's say, better Wi-Fi access. So obviously there's parks, one example is the state park, like Kaena Point. There's not going to be a whole lot of community activities, out at Kaena Point, so it's probably not going to be a need for Wi-Fi access out there. But then if you take the counter example, like Ala Moana, there's a lot of community access over there, right? So what I'd like to do is make that inventory, really lobby for the case of these parks to be considered community access, I forgot the acronym now, but they're access points that enable some of the federal funding to look at increasing the Wi-Fi access. So it's a process, and I think by the next legislative session, I would be able to provide you with, that sort of inventory.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Members, any other questions? Okay. We're going to move on to the next measure, SCR 79 SD1. Up first, we have Alan Rosenfield, University of Hawaii, with comments.
Aloha, Chair Peruso, Vice Chair Capella, members of the committee. My name is Alan Rosenfeld. I'm the Associate Vice President for Academic Programs and Policy at the University of Hawaii. The university stands on its written testimony as submitted. Thank you for this opportunity to testify, and I'm available to answer any questions the committee members might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Up next, that's all I have on my testifiers list. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Okay, Angela? As a reminder, please submit written testimony if you plan on testifying in the hearing.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and the HET Committee, Angela Melody Young, testifying to provide comments. Maritime College. It is not affiliated with the military and carries no service obligation. And students in the regiment are referred to as cadets or student cadets. And during the first year at the Maritime College, students entering the regiment are referred to as fourth class cadet or mariner under guidance, or MUG, M-U-G. Second year are known as third class cadets, and third year as second class cadets, and senior year is known as the first class year. The regiment is designed to educate and train students to survive and thrive on board a vessel. And the regiment will help student cadets develop discipline, obedience, and knowledge about their professional duties, a sense of duty and moral and ethical responsibility, and teamwork. So we should be in support of colleges and programs like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. We also have testimony in support from the Inland Boatmen's Union of the Pacific Hawaii region, as well as ILWU Local 142, also in support. Members, any questions? Chair Peruso.
I have a quick question for you, H. So, assuming this moves forward and is adopted, then will it be your responsibility, part of your office's responsibility, to kind of help frame the work of this working group and to move it forward? Is that where the work will sit with respect to UH, or?
That's my understanding. I know that the resolution calls for a collaborative committee with members of the two unions you just mentioned, and also
Yeah.
a House member and a Senate member. But obviously, in terms of developing, and then there are other elements that we'd have to get assistance in terms of identifying a site and acquiring use of a boat, areas which I know nothing about. But in terms of laying out the academic infrastructure and also figuring out how to either, if the academy would be housed within an existing campus, or it would require the establishment of a new institution, and then looking into accreditation and that kind of thing. Obviously, the university would have to take the lead on those type of questions.
And then I guess my follow-up question would be, in order for this to be fully established, then it would also have to be approved. The work of the working group, or the recommendations of the working group, would have to be approved by the Board of Regents before it comes back to the legislature, or what's your sense of that?
I suspect that is correct. It's not every day that we stand up a new college, so certainly
Right.
that would have to go through the Board of Regents. And I believe the resolution said that the report would be due back on December 31st.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Member Martin?
So I know a lot of kids, my son's friends, that go to Maritime College in California, and it seems like their whole training is to end up on a ship. It's not really about port services, which is more what I think our units are involved in here. It's to end up doing long-term work on ships. I wonder how that are there different?
Yeah, so I will confess that I have no specialty, area of knowledge in marine education, although only within the last 24 hours in preparation for this hearing did I look up, I visited the website of Cal State Maritime in Vallejo, and they had, I think, 7 concentrations. So 3 were engineering related. 1 was actually about how to pilot a ship. 1 was oceanography. 1 was business administration. So that's obviously, if the two unions are participating in the process from the start, then that would be the vehicle for us as in the university side to think about these type of degree programs that work in areas that aren't necessarily on the boat, but also in the ports and the docks. So yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you so much. We're gonna move on to the next measure, SCR 137 SD1. We have University of Hawaii in support, Jeremy Elliott Engel.
Hello, aloha, Chair Peruso, Vice Chair Martin, and members. I am Jeremy Elliott Engel, new Associate Dean for Extension with the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. I stand on the testimony that was submitted and happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much. That's all I have on my testifier list in person. We also have testimony from the Hawaii Farm Bureau also in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify? Please go ahead. Just another reminder, please submit written testimony
I will.
prior to the hearing.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Angela Melody Young testifying on behalf of CARES in strong support. So the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources was started at UH in 1907. And it is a leading academic institution in tropical agriculture, biological engineering, food science, and human nutrition, fashion design and merchandising, biotechnology, natural resources, and environmental management, and family resources. Hawaii's unique geographic location, ecological diversity, and multicultural population provides students with a living laboratory. And the college is the locus of educational opportunities for students preparing to become tomorrow's scientists, technologists, business leaders, family development specialists, fashion designers and merchandisers, nutritionists, and policymakers. So we are in support. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much. Members, are there any questions?
I have a quick question
Chair Peruso.
for Mr. Engel. So I think that we did a visit to Kona Extension site, and I think we saw something that looked like a plan for the CTAR, and I wasn't sure if we were looking at a plan for all of the sites or just that particular site. So is there something, do you have like a rough draft or a decades old plan?
Yeah, so
already?
we do have, this has been an ongoing effort of CTAR, obviously not under my leadership. There are plans for most, or an assessment of most sites that exist currently. And we just finished a strategic plan, so there's kind of a vision about the overall work, then there's individual site plans about just the facilities. And then the work that we're now endeavoring on is how do we merge those two? Where are the right investments? How do we make sure our facilities are effective for the work that we want to do for the next 100 years, as was pointed out, that we've been in existence for 100 years, and many of our facilities look that way. So.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you so
I do also apologize to the vice chair for miss calling you, but I did promote you, so I think you're welcome, or I'm sorry. So.
Thank you so much. Just a quick follow-up off of that. If you could send us that strategic plan, or maybe possibly share that with the committee, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, it has not, my understanding is not public yet, but it is at the provost's office for official review, but absolutely I will send the word that needs to be shared.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move on to SCR 179. We have one individual testifying today on Zoom, Tam Hunt, in support. Not present. Okay, not present. Moving on. Members, there's no one to ask questions of, so we're gonna keep going. To our final measure, SCR 185 SD1, we have Debet Burt Lum in support.
Burt Lum. Well, aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Burt Lum, Hawaii Broadband and Digital Equity Office. For the record, I just wanted to make sure that I remembered the acronym that I forgot. It's Community Anchor Institutions. So that's in reference to SCR 74. But for this particular resolution, I stand on our testimony in strong support and am available for any questions. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Up next, we have Daintree Bartolides, State Council on Developmental Disabilities, in support. Okay, not present. We also have the Executive Office on Aging, Caroline Kadir. I'm sorry. Oh, it's okay. I'll let you do it. Okay. With comments.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Capella, Chair Peruso, members of the committee. My name is Caroline Kadirao with the Executive Office on Aging. And yes, we're providing comments on SCR 185. This is urging the Executive Office on Aging to work with the Broadband Equity, AARP, to develop standard training for our elders in the community on how to use computers and the such. And we support this measure. We found out during the pandemic how much everyone relies on digital equity, and that our kupuna are at various levels depending on how much they use or don't use these devices. EOA stands in support of being able to help provide connectivity, helping them to learn about these training opportunities, but we think that it may be better housed in the Digital Equity Office, but we totally continue to work and support their efforts and be part of that effort to move that forward. And I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Thanks for being here. Members, that's all I have on my testifiers list. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we're going to recess for decision making. Recess. Okay, we are going to defer decision making until tomorrow following the education hearing at 2:05 in this room, room 309, on Thursday, April 13th. We're adjourned. Is that it? Yeah.